What's up guys, my name is Distortions, and today I play Overwatch. I'm going to be shedding a bit of light on a very popular topic. All the time I see people on Discord, Band, and even Facebook groups asking, how do I get good at competitive? Or, I'm stuck in bronze, how do I climb? How do I make it to diamond, or masters, or grandmasters? Why am I stuck in platinum? I'm going to be talking about some aspects of synergy with your team, flexing, and many other things you can try at any level of play to improve your game and climb the ranks. The first thing I want to recommend is flexing or fill picking. This, in a sense, translates to pick what the team needs, but don't go overboard. A perfect example is found in the start of this gameplay. You can see at the start. You can see that we had somebody instantly lock Tracer, followed by an Orisa, and then a Lucio. We then see someone pick Reinhardt a few times, then lock Roadhog. What he's probably indicating here is that the team should probably have a Reinhardt, but he either can't play him efficiently or doesn't want to. It's okay to play the character you're comfortable with, just make sure you have a few of them. My recommendation, especially to newer players out there, would be to pick 2 heroes from each class. So, 2 offense heroes, 2 defense heroes, 2 tanks, and 2 healers, and get better with each one. You can do this by going into the practice range, or a custom game with bots, and practice with that hero's kit. A diverse hero pool and knowing how to play each role can help minimize lopsided comps. I'm looking at you here, Hanzo, Widow, Genji, Tracer, at the same time. Quad DPS can work, but it's really not viable in today's meta. So you could argue that I could go Rein and hope somebody switches, but I don't. The reason being is because we already have 1 healer and 2 tanks. If I pick up another healer, then the comp is technically balanced. Sure, you can argue that Sombra is not the best choice for DPS, but she's not really designed to be a DPS anyway. She's more of a support hero to get in behind the Reinhardt and hack them, making them vulnerable because they no longer have a barrier. So that brings me to my first tip, synergy. Coordinate with your team. By me picking Zenyatta here, I don't have to worry about going to team chat and being like, hey, can we get a second healer? I can't play one. By me having a diverse hero pool, I'm able to fill that slot without having to worry about anyone else's performance being compromised because they're playing a role that they might not be used to. So the gameplay you're seeing in the background is from my main account. My main account's in Platinum. I usually use it for solo queuing and for playing with my lower ranked friends. I do have an account in Masters, but I felt like the Platinum account would be more relatable to most players. Most players who ask, well, how do I rank up, are normally in Bronze or Gold or Silver, but that's the perfect place to learn these advantages. If you can employ these tactics when other people aren't expecting it, you're going to be so much more of an asset to your team. If you can bring to the table when to initiate, if you can call out, if you can be the leader of the team, even in solo queue, your team is already at an advantage over your opponents. If their team or their comp is unorganized, they're going to make mistakes that you can capitalize on. And that brings me to my next tip, communication. Communication and coordination are what win team fights, and team fights are what win competitive matches. If you're playing with a group, join team chat at the beginning of the game. You can still talk to your friends while coordinating with your team. It's important that everybody uses communication to get where you need to go and make coordinating attacks to avoid stacking ults and wasting them when they could have tipped the team fight in your favor. Now I know, sometimes you'll get into team chat and there won't be anyone talking back. That's alright. If you see more than one player, they can hear you. They can hear your callouts, they can see where you are, and you can coordinate with them to let them know when you're going to ult or when you should push forward. How many times have you seen a Reinhardt just charge into the enemy team? I bet you can't count it on one hand. And then you see them in the kill feed because they got team shot. Because they didn't coordinate and communicate on when they were going to charge so they could get a follow-up from their team. Which brings me to my next point. Don't spam the comms. People in the comms are only interested in winning the game. They join the team chat to coordinate and communicate. They don't want to hear what you had for dinner, what your dog's doing, or that your mom's calling you to get ready and go to bed. Callouts are important, but keep them short and sweet. Say things like, "Soldiers on the high ground," or "There's a tracer in our back line." Not, oh my god, please kill the tracer, she's all over me." That's really annoying to deal with, and frankly, it can be very distracting from what's going on in the team fight. Team fights are a key point of Overwatch, and callouts are a key point to winning those team fights. Which brings me to my next point: don't get tunnel vision. Tunnel vision is when you're so focused on killing an enemy that you may be having a footsie battle with, or fighting one-on-one, that you forget to take part in the team fight. For example, if you're dueling a Widow from miles away, and there's a Winston that's harassing your whole team, your team is missing out on your DPS on that Winston. If you can help them get the Winston down faster, you have an advantage in the team fight because you're up a man. I see this a lot in people who play Soldier. Soldiers tend to get tunnel vision more than others just because his DPS is so concentrated and he can do a lot of burst damage with his Helix Rocket. If you're fighting a Pharah up in the sky, you're completely oblivious to what's going on the point. Your team may be getting decimated by a Reinhardt, but you're not there to damage him because you're busy fighting the Pharah. You're getting ticks on her, but you're not doing effective DPS. You're better off ignoring her and finishing the Reinhardt first, then calling out to your team to help you with the Pharah. My next tip is going to be know when to switch off heroes. How many times have you been on a team with a Genji who insists on only playing Genji, only to have the other team pick Winston and follow him everywhere he goes? Every 2 seconds you're seeing Genji killed by Winston in the kill feed. You tell Genji to swap, but he doesn't. He stays on Genji because he thinks he can handle the Winston. Don't be that guy. Know when to switch off. If you see a Winston and you have to play DPS, play Reaper. Reaper is a very effective counter to Winston with his huge hitbox and his ability to smash Winston's barrier in a couple of shots. Yes, I get he's not meta, but he's a counter. And the same thing goes the other way. Don't swap to a hero if you're just going to get countered by another hero on the other team. Say you finally switch off Genji because you're sick of dying to Winston over and over again, but their team has a Zarya. You should probably avoid heroes like D.Va and Roadhog. D.Va's defense matrix is powerless against Zarya's beam. Yeah, it can avoid her grenades, but she's beaming most of the time. And Roadhog, if she barriers, you're just charging her. Consider your weaknesses before you pick another hero. Bring up the hero screen and see who you're up against. My next tip is going to be learn to play heroes with self-sustain. You're going to find yourself from time to time in situations where a team comp just won't work with you. You want a second healer, but they insist that Mercy can do it. Well, you're going to have to play a hero that doesn't rely on healing too much. Play someone like Soldier or Tracer who can get health back either through an ability or can get to health packs quickly. If you're a tank player, play Roadhog. His Take a Breather heals for 300 health almost instantaneously. Just be mindful of where you use it. Playing heroes like this can definitely improve your experience in solo queue especially. My next tip is you definitely don't want to be toxic. Toxic people are plaguing Overwatch right now, and it's so common to go into a game and hear, "Oh, you're so trash. Switch off that hero, you can't play them. Give me them, you won't be able to help the team. Switch off Hanzo, you're doing nothing." These people, if you're playing on PC, report them and ignore them. If you're playing on console, unfortunately you're gonna have to wait for the report function. We still haven't gotten that from Blizzard. I know it sucks to hear me say this, but toxic people are everywhere nowadays, and I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon. You'll get into a match and you'll hear, "Hey, I'm playing Genji only, and we better get first point or I'm throwing the second round." Those people aren't very fun to deal with, and honestly, it's really kind of selfish. But the best thing to do in that situation is to try and pick a comp that complements that character. For example, if you're playing with somebody who insists they have to play Hanzo, pick a Zarya. Their grav can really complement his dragons, and it can get a massive team kill. That is, if they don't waste it trying to kill somebody on their own, and then spam thanks because you didn't damage boost them, so they didn't get any kills with it. Toxic players are hard to deal with, but once you know not to let them affect you, you can really make something happen, even with how they're acting. Which brings me to my next thing, stack ults effectively. Wasting ults is probably the worst thing that you can do in a competitive match. Ults are what wins team fights most of the time, and can really swing a team fight if they're used the way that they're designed to be. Ults like Mei's Blizzard, Zarya's Graviton, and Reinhardt's Earth Shatter are extremely powerful, but they don't do anything if your team doesn't follow up. Call out on when you're gonna ult and make sure there are people there to fight the team fight after you ult. If you get 5 people in an Earth Shatter and they all get up without damage taken, that ult was wasted. Support ults are especially crucial to staying alive in team fights from time to time, but don't stack them. 2 support ults, while yeah, it is a crap ton of healing, it's gonna lead to you guys being vulnerable in the next fight. You won't have anything to counter the ults that they might have coming back in. Soldier comes in and pops Tact Visor. Zen, use Transcendence. Next team fight, Genji comes in and uses Dragon Blade. Lucio drops the beat. That's 2 ults that you've now negated, and you have the opportunity to turn the tables with 2 offensive ults of your own. Ultimates are the most powerful abilities in Overwatch. Everyone can see that. So it's important that you use them at the right time, use them effectively, and don't waste them. This goes back to coordinating with your team. Get in team chat, use the prompt to tell everyone when your ult is up. At least if you don't have a mic, putting it in chat lets them know that it's ready to go and you might pop it at any time. Be ready to follow up. So for all you new players out there, let's recap. Communication, synergy, fill pick for your team, don't spam chat, use ults effectively, and don't stack ults unnecessarily. And most importantly, don't be toxic. Nobody likes a toxic player. Dealing with them, having to mute them, it's a lot of work to go through those menus, you know. So that brings me to the end of this video. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. I put out new videos like this as often as I can. I'm really dedicating myself to bring you guys great content. If the tips helped you, leave a comment. Let me know. I want to know that my tips are helping you guys get better at Overwatch. Got an idea for a video? Drop it down below. I'm always looking for new suggestions and bringing my viewers the best content possible. Let me know what you want to see. Have you played any cool custom games lately? Drop the rules. I play them with my friends all the time, and we're always looking for new game modes. So long for now, guys. Until next time, I have been Distortions. I'm gonna let this one play out. Take care.